The head as a divinity, the Awó who performed divination for the head, Ori Omo Atete ni Aihon, hereafter referred to as Ori, was called Amure Awó, Awó Eba Ono, who lived in the heavens. Orúnmìlà invited Amure to perform divination for him regarding how to obtain a complete physiognomy, because none of the divinities had a head at that time. The Awó told Orúnmìlà to rub both palms together, lift them up high, and pray to have a head, called Duzosori in Yoruba or Uhunzwan in Bini. He was told to make a sacrifice with 4 kola nuts, a clay pot, and a soap sponge. He was instructed to store the kola nuts in a sacred place without breaking them because an inconsiderate visitor would later come and do so. Ori also invited Amure to perform divination. He was told to serve his guardian angel with 4 kola nuts, which he could not afford. However, it was pointed out to him that he would only begin to prosper after completing the sacrifice. After making his own sacrifice, Orúnmìlà placed the 4 kola nuts in his sacred Ifa space, just as he had been instructed. Shortly afterward, Eshu announced in the heavens that Orúnmìlà had 4 beautiful kola nuts in his sacred place and was seeking a divinity to break them. Led by Ògún, all the divinities visited Orúnmìlà one after another, but he told each of them that they were not strong enough to break the kola nuts. They felt insulted and walked away, annoyed. Even Orishanlá, God the Sun, visited Orúnmìlà, but instead of allowing him to break the kola nuts in question, Orúnmìlà gifted him different and better kola nuts, stating that the original ones were not meant to be broken by him. Since it is known that God never loses patience or calm, Orishanlá accepted the fresh kola nuts that Orúnmìlà offered him and then departed. Finally, Ori decided to visit Orúnmìlà, as he was the only divinity who had not attempted to break the mysterious kola nuts, especially since he could not even afford to buy the ones he had been instructed to use in serving his guardian angel. So Ori began rolling towards Orúnmìlà's house. As soon as Orúnmìlà saw Ori rolling toward his home, he went out to meet him and carried him inside. Immediately, Orúnmìlà took the clay pot, filled it with water, and used the sponge and soap to wash Ori. After drying him, Orúnmìlà took Ori to his sacred place and asked him to break the kola nuts, because they had been reserved for him for a long time. After thanking Orúnmìlà for his honorable gesture, Ori prayed for Orúnmìlà using the kola nuts, asking that everything he did would come to fulfillment and manifestation. Then, Ori used the kola nuts to pray for himself, asking for a permanent place of residence and many followers. Afterward, Ori rolled backward, then charged at the kola nuts with force. The nuts broke apart with a loud explosion that echoed across the heavens. Upon hearing the sound of the explosion, all the other divinities immediately realized that the kola nuts in Orúnmìlà's sacred place had finally been broken. Filled with curiosity, they all wanted to know who had succeeded in breaking the kola nuts that had challenged everyone, including God. When Eshu later announced that it was Ori who had accomplished this feat, all the divinities agreed that the head was indeed the rightful divinity for the task. Almost immediately after, the hands, feet, body, stomach, chest, neck, and all other parts, which until then had distinct identities, gathered together and decided to go live with the head. They had not previously understood how important Ori was. Together, they lifted the head above them, and there, in the sacred place of Orúnmìlà, the head was crowned as the king of the body. Because of the role Orúnmìlà played in its destiny, the head touches the ground in respect and reverence to Orúnmìlà, even to this day. This is also why, despite being the youngest of all the divinities, Orúnmìlà is the most important of them all. For the son of Ejiogbe to live a long life on earth, he must seek Awós who will wisely prepare a special bathing soap using the skull of an animal. Ejiogbe is the patron divinity of the head, because he was the one in heaven who performed the sacrifice that made the head the king of the body. Ejiogbe has become the most important Olodu and apostle of Orúnmìlà on earth, despite originally being one of the youngest. He belongs to the second generation of prophets, who volunteered to come into this world to make it a better place by leading through example. He was an apostle of Orúnmìlà, who showed great charity and generosity, both when he was in heaven and when he came into this world.